Good evening, everyone, and welcome to my bar. My name is Ansel, the Indecisionist, and I'll be your dungeon barkeep today. As I've heard from the other side of the portal, it sounds like there's been some pretty serious stuff going on, and I'm here to help, hopefully, in giving you something fun to do as a departure. But that doesn't change the fact of what's happened today. And there's a lot. So be careful out there, adventurers. Be careful with one another. Be careful with yourselves. Be careful with the news. It's so easy to get overwhelmed in the middle of an adventure when you're taking out the monster or going shopping. It can be easy to get overwhelmed. Today of all days, let us care for ourselves and each other. We nerds do better in a community. That's just science. But you guys did come to my cave in the middle of nowhere after fighting off orcs to hear me wax philosophical. You came here for a drink. So let's make one. What do you say? Now, I'm no expert mixologist, but like any barkeep worth my salt, I've got a lot on hand and a willingness to try whatever I make before I foist it on you. Now, I had a bunch of friends on Facebook suggest names of cocktails that I ought to make and add to my list here at the Dungeon Tavern. And I am going to go ahead and use that list to choose a cocktail name. Then I'm going to use a set of gaming dice to choose all of the ingredients that go into that cocktail. And at the end, we will have a brand new drink. Something that no one has ever tried before, in this setting at the very least. We've gotten accidentally close a couple times, but still have never made an actual standardized cocktail that I'm aware of. So today we're going to make yet another brand new cocktail for your adventuring enjoyment. The first thing we got to do, though, is pick a name. So, let's find out what we got. That's going to be decided by a D100. That'll be our first roll of the night. So let's cut to the dice can. Now, 90% better lit than it was previously. And we'll roll 2 D10s for a D100. There we go. That's a 49. 49 on the list is... Of course, it's on the other page. Dwarven Breakfast, suggested by Rain Bakchasius. I've actually never had to pronounce your last name, Rain. Bakchias? You'll have to correct me when you watch this. Correct me. Tell me how to pronounce your name. Bakchias, I think. But anyway, Rain, you're fabulous, and this drink is going to be amazing. Dwarven Breakfast. What could be better than a bunch of booze to go into a Dwarven Breakfast? It's exactly what we've all expected. So, the first thing we have to do to figure out what goes into a Dwarven Breakfast is decide on a liquor. So that's going to be a D20. There we go. That's a 14, which on the liquor chart gives us Bourbon! Always a good start, Bourbon. All right, so Bourbon. Exciting. So now we need to decide on a bar term. This will be something to educate us, and if it's something that I can use in the cocktail, I absolutely will. So let's go back to camera B and roll a D12. Let's see, what did we get? That's a 10. Okay, so a 10 on the bar terms chart is Muddle. All right, Muddle has come up a few times. So I'm going to have to put in new bar terms eventually. Muddling is when you use a device like this. You can see it's got little pounces on the end of it, or little like sharp bits, kind of like a meat tenderizer. And what this is for is you're going to put fruit or sugar or any kind of solid into the bottom of your glass. Pour usually some bitters over the top of it, maybe a little bit of booze, and then you're going to smash that up to incorporate the juice of whatever it is you're smashing into cocktail. And that's called muddling. This is a muddler. Let's see if we can muddle something today. I have confidence. I've got a few pieces of extra citrus floating around. Maybe I'll muddle something just for the fun of it. Yeah, we're just muddling along today. There we go. Fitting, Cookie Monster. Well done. Well done. Well spotted. Now we're going to go to a D8. Amber will enjoy this ink dot, and I think this is going to be Amber's drink of choice. So we're going to go back to camera B for a D8. This is going to be our mixer. Let's see, can you read it? Yeah, 4. Man, 100% more legible on the camera today. All right, so that is going to be a simple syrup. All right, so we're bourbon and simple syrup. We're doing pretty well so far. This is shaping up to be a standard cocktail. This might be something normal. Who knows? All right, next we're going to go to a D6. So let's go back to camera B. D6. That's a 1, which on the garnish chart is a lemon twist. All right, so we're going to put a lemon twist on this. That's exciting. And maybe I'll muddle some lemon down in there just to, give us something to muddle since we're already going to cut into that darn thing. You should roll your garnish before you roll the bar term. Ooh, that's a good idea. We'll have to make different numbers to make it numerically work, but I like that. I like that idea. Okay, so maybe we'll muddle some lemon in there. Let's see. All right, and finally, we've got a D4. Let's see if it's legible this time. Oh my goodness, it totally is. That's a 2. All right, so for our method, that's going to be stirred today. Okay, so we're going to stir together simple syrup and bourbon with a lemon zest garnish, a twist of lemon. It does sound tasty so far. It almost feels too easy, though. So let's see. Where's my... Here we go. Let's add an X factor in here. I realize I keep doing this, so maybe I just need to add an X factor into the situation. But I think today we're going to add a liqueur and a soda. So let me grab an extra D4 and a D8. Today calls for something out of the box, right? I think so. So let's grab extra dice out of here. I know I've got D8s because they're for other stuff. Here we go. There's D8. This is my executive decision. We're changing up the program because simple syrup and bourbon is just too ho-hum, too everyday. So we're going to go over to the bonus roll start after we've rolled these 2 dice. Camera B back up. Here we go. Boom. All right, so that's a 3 and a 2. All right, so root beer. All right, and coffee liqueur. All right. Now we're talking weird. Yeah, it was dangerously close to a whiskey sour before. Now we've gotten completely out of that territory. And I think this is going to be a lot more interesting. Maybe not a lot better, but a lot more interesting. All right, and we're stirring it, so we'll see how that goes. This is definitely going to have to be in a rocks glass. So let's switch over to the bar top cam and see how it comes together. Oh, let me get that whiskey out of the way. Nothing to see there. All right. So there we go. And we're going to need a good sturdy pour of bourbon. I think this will work too, yeah. All right. So we're going to do a good 2-ounce pour of bourbon. I'm using Rebel Yell because it is perfectly good and cheap. All right. All right, so now we're going to do some simple syrup. Let's see. We're going into root beer and coffee liqueur. I think this is the time I'm going to use some of this cinnamon simple syrup that I made for the holidays. If you guys were watching any of the holiday videos, I used simple syrup in that. So I'm going to go ahead and get us 1 ounce. Well, no, let's do a 1/2 ounce. We'll do a 1/2 ounce of simple. And that is cinnamon flavored simple. That should give us a little extra character just to, really amp up the X factor here. All right. And now that we've got something in there, we can go ahead and prepare our garnish and muddle some lemon in there. This is going to take a little longer than our usual channel videos, so feel free to chat amongst yourselves. I'm I'm gonna let this one play out a little bit longer. I feel like today of all days we need to talk to one another. All right, so that lemon. Oh, I'm using a cutting board to roll that lemon on. That's better. That's much better. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get a nice big twist of lemon. That's for later. We're gonna save that. And I'm actually gonna take 2 twists of lemon today for reasons. All right, so we're gonna set those aside. And then go ahead and cut this lemon in half. I'm gonna get half of the lemon juiced into, or no, I'll do a round. I'll do a round of lemon. That way we can muddle it nicely. That'll be exciting. All right. Oh, if you've been at work all day, just be careful with yourself as you open your news apps today. The noise on the other side of the portal has been difficult to ignore all day today. All right, so we've got our round of lemon, and that's going to go right there into the glass. And we're going to muddle that around just to express as much of the lemony flavor as we can. We are bringing back the Roaring 20s, and lots of extra roaring, I imagine. Also, we can all celebrate that this is the year that people will actually admit it is the 20s now. There was much debate last year as to whether or not the decade had started. Now we can all agree it's definitely the 20s. All right, so I've smashed up the pulp of the interior of that lemon into the drink, and that's all going to just sort of hang out. If you're going to do this with lemon, something that I didn't say out loud as I was doing it, I picked out a couple of lemon seeds. Make sure you do that, because otherwise they are going to get down into your cocktail, and you're going to want to strain it. For a stirred drink like this, that's going to be a problem. Okay, so that's our lemon, that's our simple, that's our bourbon, finally coffee liqueur. Well, almost finally, I should say. That's the wrong one. I actually have a pumpkin spice coffee liqueur that came up a while ago. We haven't done that one in a while, but it is on the rack. Hey, you know, if you want to bring back flapper outfits, I think that's your prerogative. There's definitely room for them in the greater conversation of fashion, I think. All right, so we're also going to do a half-ounce pour of coffee liqueur. I've actually heard about a new coffee liqueur that I'm hoping to add to the rail eventually, but this is the one that everybody has, you know, that one. All right. So we've got coffee liqueur, cinnamon simple syrup, bourbon, and muddled lemon all down in that drink. And then I'm going to add a little bit of ice, because otherwise this will be very unpleasant very quickly, I imagine. There we are. 3d6 of cold damage. Ooh, Unique Vintage has flapper dresses. That's exciting. All right, so now our drink has been stirred. We can top it. Ooh, showed the label. Whoops. Now we can top it with some root beer. And I want to take this opportunity to talk about this coming Friday, because this coming Friday, I am doing another live stream in conjunction with the YouTube channel Bad Astra. They and I have been collaborating for the last couple weeks to create some special stuff for y'all. And I will be live streaming with one of their personalities, Eris, over on their channel coming up on Friday at 8 p.m. So keep an eye on YouTube for that. So what I'm doing here, I'm going to scooch this forward so you can see it. I'm going to try something. Ho ho! Did you guys see that? All right. I hope you got to see that. It was really cool, but it was very small. Let me get a fresh match, because that one burned right up to my fingers so fast. Now, what does this do, aside from look cool? Hypothetically, it's caramelizing the lemon oil off of the peel. And it's also, you know, neat. Okay, so now we've got lemon peel with expressed oils garnishing our drink that already has a wheel of lemon in it. Now, I think if I were going to present this at the bar, I might pull that wheel of lemon out, but this is for tasting, not presenting, so let's all pretend together that that looks different. And we'll come back up to the neutral cam. A flapper might be referred to as a tomato. Oh, okay, yeah, I think that's probably accurate. It's right. It's been a long time since anybody did anything with that. All right, so root beer, lemon, cinnamon simple syrup, coffee liqueur, and bourbon. It should be entertaining if it's not delicious, but let's see. Okay, this tastes very brown. It almost has a like a chocolate thing going on. The cinnamon and the coffee flavoring. Wow. Okay, guys, I had every expectation for this to be just a little bit too weird. But if I'm honest with you, I could see people ordering this on purpose. It's a little sweet for my tastes, generally. I like something that's a little bit more bitter, a little bit more, you know, booze forward. But for a sweet cocktail, this is pretty good. The root beer is definitely there, although it's sort of mellowed by the lemon flavor. So if you're one of those people who doesn't really like root beer, a lot of the root beerness is sort of subsumed by the cinnamon and the lemon, which are working together to create sort of some top notes that I think are defeating the root flavors that would normally sort of overpower a root beer drink. It helps that there were enough things in here that I think we probably only put maybe 3 or 4 ounces of root beer in here total, which is like 2/3 of the drink, as opposed to, you know, way more if we had had fewer ingredients. But yeah, it's like a weird chocolatey sort of experience that I'm getting out of this. The coffee liqueur is not asserting itself as coffee, but it is giving it this like mellow, bitter, low tone, and I think that's a lot of where that chocolate's coming from. I think it's the coffee and the cinnamon working together, sort of creating something that's in chocolate space. It doesn't taste like chocolate, just to be clear. You would never mistake this for something that has like chocolate liqueur or you know, specifically chocolate flavoring in it. But it's in that space. It's in that area. It tastes very brown. Man, Dwarven breakfast. It's really good. It's really good. I'm as surprised as anybody. Although, based upon the chat, you guys saw that coming. Wow. That one was really, really good. And I'm glad you guys enjoyed that fire trick. I'm probably going to pull that one out a little bit more. I do want to take this opportunity as well to thank everybody who has contributed to my Ko-Fi page or Coffee page. Those donations are such a huge help, and it really lets me know that you appreciate all the work that's going into this. The channel does take a fair amount of effort to put together. I mean, these live streams and the content that I put out on weekends, and the fact that you guys like it and are responding to it only encourages me to do it more. So thank you very much for that. I also want to thank everybody who sent me jiggers and mixing supplies, whether through my Amazon wishlist or otherwise. The straw I used today was sent to me by somebody. The spoon I stirred with. So the outpouring of love that you guys have been sending is just, it means the world to me. And you know, with everything going on today, especially, I knew that I needed to be here for you, and because I want to thank you for being there for me. On that topic, I am on a drive to get to 500 subscribers, so hopefully we can build the community, build even more people watching, and once I get to 500, I'm adding Malort to the rail, which means that all of these drinks have the chance to get that much weirder and that much grosser. Or we can find a cocktail that Malort goes well in. Here's hoping. I'm confident that it's going to happen. Uh, all that being said, everybody, I have been Ansel Birch, the Indecisionist, your dungeon barkeep. Treat each other nicely. Stick together.